Hey everybody, and welcome to Ages Cozy Crochet Corner, where today in the corner we will be doing Oscar the Grouch. I mean, so I'm making this little kitty hooded, pocketed blankets, right? And I think I had one of the teenagers walk by me, and teenagers, some days up, some days down. And I was trying to think of what other character to do. And as the teenager walked by, I thought, Oscar. Oscar the Grouch. So I'm gonna do Oscar, and I'm gonna give it to you in a bigger size, more so for preteen, teens sizes. And again, as I told you on the other ones, we're gonna go from one hand to the other to the tips. Just space, put them out, and there you go. That's your measurement for your width. Height is going to be from shoulder to floor. If you wanted to drag some on the floor, put a little extra on it. And hood is going to be from shoulders to tops of heads. The width of the shoulder, so you have enough to fold, and it'll be where it needs to be. You can also go around it with a little lining. We'll get there. We're going to go get there right now. So everybody, let's go to the table and let's start this tutorial. Okay, so today we're doing like a Oscar the Grouch type feel hooded blanket. So I'm making this one in like a teenage size. So we're going to be using, let's say, a 5.5 millimeter hook, and just to do the eyes and the eyebrows, we'll be using a 3.5 millimeter hook. Now we'll need some white, a little bit of white to do the eyes, and black as well to go in the eyes, brown for the eyebrows. We're gonna need some green. Now I wanted to try this particular yarn in a blanket, so I tried to find the green that was most like um, the the character in that brand. So I found this one, and this is leaf green, and this is the closest one I could find to that. So we'll need some leaf green, and we're also going to need gray. Now, as far as how much yarn, that will be in the description box. The little pieces that we're going to use for the eyes, that's kind of the eyes and the black. um I'll gauge that and add that in, but the bulk of it will be in the gray for the trash can portion. That's going to be the bulk of what we use. And then this will be on the top half. So again, I'm going to put how much yarn I use in the description box, so that's there if you want to see how much yarn was used to make this blanket. So we're going to start with our 5.5 millimeter hook. And we're going to move all of this out of the way because we will get to that later. And we're going to start with our gray. Now, the base of the blanket is fairly simple. It's just going to be a one row repeat. We're going to be doing half doubles all the way throughout the whole blanket. Let's see if I can find my start here. Yeah. It's in here somewhere. Okay, so we're going to be, like I said, doing the bulk of our blanket in the gray, and it's a simple half doubles all the way throughout, in the back loop only. You're going to chain 131. 131 is going to be the chain, the start, the foundation chain. I am just going to do a little sample. just to show you how to do the half doubles if you are not familiar with it. So I'm just going to chain 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we will not be going into the first loop. We'll be going into the second, and we're going to go in there and make a half double. All right. And we're going to do half doubles down our whole foundation chain. And the way you do a half double is you yarn over, you go into your hole, grab your yarn, come back up. You should have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, and you're going to take off all 3. To demonstrate that again, yarn over, you're going to go inside your hole, grab your yarn, and pull up. 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, and take off all 3. So that is what you're going to be doing, that whole foundation chain, and at the end of it you should have 130 half doubles. So you'll have 130 half doubles, and you will have 130 half doubles for the entire bottom piece in the gray that we're going to do. All right, so when you get to the end of your foundation chain and you've done all your half doubles, you're going to chain 1. You're also going to chain 1 at the end of every row. Yarn over. Now we're going to be going right into that first stitch, but we're going into the first stitch, but we're only going to go into the back loop. So if you take and you face your piece to you like this, you see there's a front loop right there, and then there's the back one. You want to go in between that little V shape and grab your yarn, come up and take off all 3. So again, we're just going through the back loop only. Yarn over, and we look at it, and we're just going right through the back loop only. And every row after this, we will just be going through the back loop only, placing our half doubles all the way down to the end. Back loop. Now, the only place where we're going to do something different other than back loop only in the stitch would be the last stitch in that row. So the last stitch is going to be through both loops. Okay, last stitch is through both loops, and then we chain 1 and turn our work. And again, we're going right into that first stitch, but we're going not through the side right here. We're going through the top, and we're going just through the back loop and placing our half double just through the back loop. So we'll do that all the way to the end of every single row till we get to the last stitch. And that last stitch in every row will be a yarn over and go through both loops. and make our half double. And then at the end of the row, we chain one and we turn our work and we start all over again. So right in the first stitch, we're going to go in the back loop only, going in, just grabbing the back loop, just in the back loop, and all the way down to the end. Now when we get to the last stitch in that row, remember, we're going through both loops. Both loops in the last stitch. And chain one and turn again and start all over. So we're going to do this for 92 rows. So once we're done, we're going to have 92 rows, and that should be a good width for a teen size. So I'm going to bring in the larger piece because I've already done my 92 rows. And let's look at what that looks like. It's a big piece. Now, of course, like I said, it is a big piece. All right. Let's look at the top. And I'm going to bring my little piece in one more time. Now, when we're making the rows, we have our work turned this way so we can work back and forth and back and forth. But once we completed it, we're now going to turn our work like this. So once you finish making your work back and forth, this piece will now rest like this. And that's why you see the lines going this way. I figured that was a good way to simply, because this is all about fun and simplicity, to simply mimic the trash can. Okay, so we're going to turn our work like this after we work it back and forth. We're going to turn it like this. And of course, you see, I did not take off my yarn. I kept it on. So I move this back out. So now that I have my 92 rows and I should have 130 stitches in each row, half doubles. I'm going to chain one. Now what I want to do is work along this edging for 2 rows, okay? So I'm going to show you what that looks like, because here now we're working on the side of stitches, and that's why we want to kind of build this 2-row area so we have more of a foundation here. So now we're working on the sides of these stitches. So I'm going to show you where to place all of your stitches going down. Because we have 92, we should be able to group, and we should, because we have 92, we are able to have because we have 92, we can look at 2 rows at a time, okay? So in looking at 2 rows at a time, I want to place 3 stitches over 2 rows. So in my first, and you see this is one row here and another row right here. So over these two rows, we want to place 3 stitches. So where we chain 1 in the beginning, we want to go in and place a single crochet. Okay. Now, right in the middle of these stitches, right in that area, we want to place another single crochet. And right at the end where that second row ends, we want to place another single crochet. Let's do that a couple more times. So again, we're looking at 2 rows, and I want to place one right in between that half double right there. So I'm going to go in between that half double and place my single crochet. Now, in the middle area where you kind of see the pieces like this, we want to go in that area and make another single crochet. And into the half double on the second row we're looking at, we want to go in the middle of that half double and make another single crochet. So we're making a single crochet and in a half double in the middle part where you see the eye loops right here, which would be a stitch if we were working on top, and we want to go in between the next half double. So every half double we want to go in between, and I'm working with the next set of 2. We want to go in between that half double and make a single crochet. We want to go into this middle part and make a single crochet, and we want to go through this half double and make a single crochet. So again, in the span of 2 rows, we get 3 stitches. So half double, we go into the middle of the half double and make a single crochet. We go into that middle portion and make a single crochet, and we go inside this half double and make a single crochet. So by the time we finish doing that, we should have 138 single crochets. So remember, inside the half double, inside the space in between, and inside the half double. And we're going to do that all the way down till we get to the end of this row. My yarn. And we do that all the way down to the end of the row. So continue that on out, and I'll see you when I get to the end. Okay, so I have gotten to the end. Now, no worries. If you adjust this size and you're making a smaller size or a larger size, you're just going to keep doing just what I showed you, going 1 single crochet into a half double, 1 into the middle portion in between those, and 1 single crochet on the half double. So even if you have an uneven amount, you're just going to be placing in those areas. So your number count might be different. That's fine. Just as long as you place in each one of those areas, you'll be great, because we want this to be able to not buckle, but have perfect proportionate stitches, since we're going to be building from here on top of it. So we're going to chain one, and I'm going to flip my work over. All right. So now on this second row, we're going to be placing half doubles, and we're going through both loops. So each one of our single crochets is going to get a half double through both loops. So for me, I should have 138 half doubles at the end of this row. If you would change your sizes even slightly, then however many single crochets you've placed in your previous row, you'll have that same amount of half doubles in this row. So we're going to go all the way down to the end, just placing our half doubles through both loops. Okay, so I've gotten to the end of my half double row. Now I just have one stitch left, but this is also the same spot where I want to switch colors, because I want to start now using my green. So I'm going to yarn over, and I'm going to go into the last stitch, grab my yarn, and pull up. Now I'm going to stop there, and I'm going to cut this gray off, and I'm going to bring my green in. I'm going to wrap this around my finger, and I'm going to add on my green onto my hook. And now I want to pull the green through all three, completing the half double, and chain one. So I'm going to turn my work now, and now I could carry on with just the green. So now we're going to work up just a portion in this, and since everything else is done with half doubles, we'll complete some rows with just the green and half doubles. Now these half doubles, we're going to be working through both loops as well. So just as we have done the last row, we're going to do the same thing, just making half doubles all the way down this row. And you can see that's where Oscar's going to come in. Now this is pretty much almost to where we want it in height. So we only want to do, we don't want to do too many rows in green before we start to have our head piece come in, where our hood come in, which is more so the head portion. All right, so we're going to go all the way down to the end of this row with our green. Okay, so I have chained one and turned my work after finishing that row. Now I want to put in total 12 green rows. So we're going to just keep working up until we get to 12 green rows. So we're going to keep doing the same thing, half double all the way to the end of the row, chain one and turn, and then repeat that process until we get to the end of row 12. Okay, so I want to look at making the pockets. So we're going to make the pockets with the green because the pockets are basically going to be in that green area. So want to chain 21. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21. Now, we're going to not be going in that first stitch. We're going to go into the second stitch, and we're going to be making a half double. Now we're going to half double all the way to the end of our foundation chain for our pocket. So you should have altogether 20 half doubles. And we're going to chain one, turn our work, and starting from the first stitch, we will be putting half doubles all the way to the end, working in both loops. Now we're going to chain one, turn our work, and we're going to do that all over again. So we'll repeat that row and just putting half doubles all the way down to the end of the row. Each row should have 20 half doubles on it, and we're going to do that till we reach row 12. So in total we should have 12 rows. Okay, so I have gotten to the end. I've made 12 rows. An important thing to remember about your pocket, you just want to be able to fit a hand. Now, my hand fits in here, so I know a teen's hand would fit in here. You could always make the pocket wider or longer by adding more to the foundation chain or more rows or both. If you want a larger pocket, just do both. If you are making a smaller size, again, just make sure that the child's hand fits in the middle of the pocket comfortably. Of course, with use, our pocket will stretch some, so just make sure the hand fits inside the pocket comfortably, and that is all. So once you get to the end, you're just going to cut your yarn. And remember, you need 2 of these. So I'm going to make another one right now, and we'll have 2. Okay, so I have gotten to the end of my 12 rows. So I just want to pull this right on through and pull it down tight to end that. So you see we have the top portion going on here, and now we're actually going to be putting on the hood. So I've already marked off 62 stitches, okay? For the teen and adult size, it's pretty much the same, 62 stitches I like to mark off for a hood. Again, if you're doing a smaller size, you can always measure from shoulder to shoulder and use that amount to make your hood. Let's see. So on this side, because I have 138 stitches here, I have 38 stitches on this side and 38 on this side, and then I have my 62 in the middle. So I'm going to be going right here, grabbing my color, coming back in with the green, and I want to add my yarn on here. Right. And I'm going back in there and make a half double. So now I'm just going to be placing half doubles all the way and until I get to the opposite end, in which case I'll have 62 half doubles. And then we'll start building up from there, and we'll only be working across these stitches from here on out. So we will be working these stitches in both loops. So I'm going to work all the way down to the opposite end. And then I'll show you how we're going to keep building this from there. Okay, so I've made it to right before I have my little blocked off stitch. I have my 62. So I'm going to chain 1, and we're going to do this at the end of every one of these rows. Chain 1 and turn your work. Flip this over. And we're going right back into that first stitch and place a half double. And we'll be doing this back and forth for the amount of rows we need to make our hood as tall as we need it to be. So there's only going to be half doubles, just like we did this part. Is the exact same thing we're going to do over our 62 stitches. And we'll work that back and forth. So I'm going to go ahead and put my rows on for the hood, and then we'll come back in and I'll show you how to close off your hood. Remember, we're only going to work from here to here. Okay, so I have made it to my 22nd row for my hood. Now remember, the hood height, it's all about what you want. So if you want to go higher, and as well as you want your hood wider, this one and seeing how this one lays will give you a good idea of how it is, and you'll know if you want to go even higher and put more to your hood or make it wider. So again, I've done 22 rows for my hood. I'm going to chain one, and then I'm going to fold my hood. Okay, so I'm going to fold my hood. Let me bring this in. I got a lot of material I'm working with. So I want to fold my hood. Now this will be the inside of the hood, so make sure what's on the outside now will be on the inside of the hood. So make sure you fold it appropriately. If you have decided either one of your sides is already going to be your outside versus your inside. And we're going to start by taking and going back into this first stitch right here. So I'm going to go back into that first stitch here, and I want to go in the first stitch on the opposite side. Actually, let me turn it this way so make sure you can see it better. So you come on out. Gonna go this way so you can see it better. So I'm gonna go into the first stitch on this side since I've turned it around, and I'm going to go into the first stitch here, and I'm going to make a single crochet. So all we're doing is matching up our stitches till we get to the end. So I'm going through the second stitch here and the second stitch in the back, and the third here and the third stitch in the back, and the fourth stitch here and the fourth stitch in the back, and the fifth with the fifth, and we're making single crochets. So we're going to keep going down that whole top of the hood, closing off the top of our hood. Be sure not to skip any stitches. And we'll go all the way down to the end. Now, normally on most of my adult hoods, I tend to put 28 rows. I did a little smaller, so when it's hanging from just the hood area on their head, it won't be too much sag in the back. I think this will be fine, although I've done hood sizes many different ways. If you always want to make it easy on yourself, you could always measure from neck to top of the head, and of course do the amount of rows it would take to get there. Now our last stitch is going to be right here. Kind of only one left. Sit. And then we're going to cut. Now when it comes to weaving in, do not forget to come back and weave that in. For right now, I'm just going to open up my hood and turn it on the right side. And now that is the inside of our hood. Now, the only other thing I want to do is I want to put the monster's mouths are usually black. So I just want to put one row, maybe two. It depends on how I feel. We'll see. Of black. I'll probably put two. Of black right here on the edge of this. So let's turn that around and let's get that started. So I turned my hood upside down so I'm able to work in it better. And I still have my marker here from when I started my hood. I'm actually going to go in that marker, which is the stitch before our hood started, and that's where I'm going to begin. So if you don't still have your marker there, just go to the stitch right before your hood starts, and I'm going to add on my yarn there, chain one, and then go back inside and make one single crochet. And then in the next stitch we want to make a half double, and here on this edge of the hood, remember we're working on the sides of stitches, so we're just gonna pleasantly place stitches. Now that's one inside of the half double here. We place one there, place one kind of in the middle, and place one inside this half double, and place one in the middle, and place one inside the half double. Oh wait, let me back that up because I went on the other side. And we're going to go in the middle and one inside the half double, pretty much just like we did when we did the top of our gray row. So just keep placing your half doubles all the way along. And you can see the spacing of them. Now I'm coming back down to my other side where my marker is, and I'm going to make half doubles until I get to that marker. And once I get to that marker, I'm going to make a single crochet. Now that's how it's going to be. If you want your line to be even cleaner than this, you can always do a row of green single crochets and then come back and put your black, and it should be more even. But this is all in fun, and I think that's fine. Okay, so we're going to chain one. We're going to turn this around. We're going to put a single crochet where we have a single crochet. We're going to single crochet into the next stitch as well. And then we're going to start doing our half doubles again, all the way back around. Now when we come on the other side, we'll put lace 2 single crochets in the last 2 stitches to mimic this side. So I'm going to go all the way back around, and I'll see you when we get there. Okay, so I am back to the other side, and remember that last half double, we're going to put a single crochet there, and the single crochet will place another single crochet there, and then we're going to cut our yarn. All right. All right, so that is our hood. Now we have to get our other elements on there. We've done our pockets. We're going to be placing our pockets right here. And I'm going to pin this here. So our pocket is going to go right on that. And it's 12 rows, just like our other green area is 12 rows. So it should fit perfectly right in here. And we're not going to close off this. We're just going to take our yarn needle and we're going to sew down from here, up here, and right here. And we're going to leave this portion open. Okay. And on the other side, so lay this one in here as well. And the same thing for this one, we'll be leaving this side open and we'll be sewing down from here on up and to right here. But we have a few other elements that we need to get on. And one of them being the eye. So I didn't complete this eye yet. I made only one of the eye because I wanted to go over this with you. The little black part we're going to be sewing down. Now, both of these pieces are made the same. The only thing is we're doing more rounds on here than we are here. Because this is black, I'm not going to show you, but I will tell you at what point you're going to just cut off, and that will be this part. Okay, so we're going to make this in its entirety, and once we get to where we need to stop for this part, then I'll let you know. But we're going to continue on with the white, and that way you'll have a reference to go back to for that. And this is also the point where we're going to be bringing in our 3.5 millimeter hook, and we'll be working with that. So move these up here a little bit. Now, as far as for a marker, because we will be needing a marker, I am just going to use some different color yarn. Okay, for my marker. If you have a stitch marker, you can use that, of course. So how we're going to begin, we're going to begin with a magic circle. If you never made a magic circle, you're just going to wrap it around your finger and cross it, pull it off, and pull that through. Now, think of it this way. It's just like a knot. If I was to pull this, I would make a knot, okay? It's just like making a knot, but just not finishing it. So once we have that, we're going to stick our hook inside the circle. Grab your yarn, pull it through, and chain one. Now we're going to go back into this hole 6 more times. 1, and make single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we have 6 single crochets, and now we can pull this close. And I'm going to take my marker and I'm going to put it right where we stopped. Now I'm going to go into the first single crochet we have right here, and we should have 6 of them. I'm going to go into the first one here, and I'm going to go and place 2 more single crochets in that same spot. Now the next one, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to place 2 single crochets here. The next one, 2 single crochets. And the next one, 2 single crochets. And the next 2 single crochets, and the last one here, 2 single crochets. So now I'm going to bring my marker up so I know where I'm at, and I am going to go into the first single crochet right here, and I'm going to place 1 single crochet. Into the second one, I will be placing 2 single crochets. So what we're doing is increasing the size of our circle every time we place 2. And oh, you guys, I got so happy going on. Once we finish the first row right here, that is where we're going to snap off to make our circle, okay, for our black. So right before we placed the marker, that was the moment I went totally past it, So, and we only go around it twice. So for this, so right after we make our 2 single crochets and every stitch and all the 6 stitches, as soon as we get to the end of that round, we cut off for our black piece. Okay, so back here, so we place 1 single crochet, then 2 single crochets, and we're going to keep that up all the way around. So 1 single crochet and then 2 single crochets. One single crochet and 2. 1 single crochet, and in the next one we'll place 2 single crochets. And the next one, 1 single crochet, and the next one we'll place 2. And 1 single crochet, and in the next one we'll place 2. Alright, so we've gone all the way around. I'm going to bring my marker up again, and this time we'll be going 1 single crochet and 1 stitch, in the next stitch 1 single crochet, and in the third stitch 2. So it'll be 1 single crochet, next stitch 1 single crochet, and the next stitch gets 2. And we'll be doing that all the way around. 1 single crochet, next stitch 1 single crochet, next stitch gets 2. One single crochet, 1 single crochet, next stitch gets 2. And the next one, 1 single crochet, next 1 single crochet, and the following one gets 2. And again, 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, and the next one gets 2. And again, 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, and the next one gets 2. We're going to raise our marker up again, and this time we'll be doing 1 single crochet, next stitch 1 single crochet, next stitch 1 single crochet, and the next one gets 2. So 3 single crochets, 1, 2, and 3, and the fourth stitch gets 2. So again, 1, 2, 3, and the fourth stitch gets 2. And again, 1, 2, 3, and the fourth stitch gets 2. And 1, 2, 3, and the fourth stitch gets 2. And 1, 2, 3, and the fourth stitch gets 2. And last time, 1, 2, 3, and the fourth stitch gets 2. So this is our last round, and in this round we'll do 4 single crochets, and then the 5th one we'll get 2. So 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, 3 and 4, and then the 5th one gets 2. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5th one gets 2, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and the 5th one gets 2, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5th one gets 2, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5th one gets 2. And last time, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5th one gets 2. Now we're ready to end off, so we're actually going to go in the next one, grab our yarn and pull it through here. I'm going to cut this and we're going to pull this all the way through. I'm going to take this out, and now we can place our eye here, and it'll be like that. Now we first are going to weave in the ends on our eye. And by weaving in, we're just going to go through a couple times to get these loose ends cut down. And you're just going in and out of the stitches. Get it out your way. And once you're done, go cut it at the base. And we'll do this one too. Just weaving it in the back end, and then cut it right at the base. And we'll do the same with this. Just gonna weave it in the back. Now we will be sewing these things down, so nothing too dramatic. You just want to put them down. That's good enough for me. I'm gonna cut these both at the base. And now the black is going to get sewn on the eye. So I'm gonna grab some black. And I'm just using one strand. I'm not putting both of the strands together. Get me a little knot so this does not get away from me. And I'm going to enter through the eye first. Well, the black part first. And wherever and however I want my eyes to look, if I want both of them like this, if I want them like this, if I want them like this, wherever I want it to be, and I'm just going to sew it down. I'm just going to sew it down. And once I have it all sewn down, I'm going to push this all the way to the back. And we're just going to make a knot. If you feel secure, you could do it a couple times, because you won't be able to see this back. And then cut it at the base. And now once we have it like this, however we want the other eye, so if I did this one like this, then make that one like that, however you're deciding to do it. And then we're going to sew this down here. And we're going to sew it down using white all the way around here. But man, right now I'm just going to pin that down. And I'll do the other eye in a moment. But matter of fact, before we get to our next thing, and I don't want to sew them down just yet, but if I say this eye is here, then this eye will probably be right here. All right, and now we're going to work on the eyebrow. Okay, so we've got our eyes in place, and I have not pinned down my eyes, but what I want to do next is bring in my brown. Now we're going to make our eyebrows. So I have chained 34 for my eyebrows. As you see, 34 for the eyebrows. Now, and I'm using still my 3.5 millimeter hook. So I'm not going to go into the first chain from the hook. I'm going to go in the second, and I'm going to place a half double. Now I want to half double down 15 more, so I'll have a total of 16 half doubles. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. So once I've got to 16, my next one, I want to go inside my next one, and I want to place 3 half doubles inside the same stitch. 2 and 3. All right, so we have 3 half doubles inside the same stitch. And now we'll just do half doubles till we get to the end. Okay. And now you can see how, because we all know our skirt has a little unibrow that dips down a little bit. And there you have that right there. Okay. So now I'm just going to pull this all the way through. Got to cut it first, right? So I'm going to cut that and pull this all the way through and pull it tight. Now, depending on how far your eyes are apart, you want to make sure you chain so it is the length of a little bit past the eye, so you have that space that you need to go a little bit past the eye. Okay. Now I might move my this eye in a little bit, and that is why I did not secure down my eyes yet. And there you have it. Right. So we've done all of that, and I'm just gonna take and pin this down. We still have to weave in a few ends and all. Now, when I was looking up and looking up my Oscar ideas of what I wanted the blanket to look like, I saw a cute picture which had on one right in front of the trash can a little white piece, and it said "go away" in red. So if you would like to add in this idea right there, I'm going to you're going to make this piece right here, and this is all white, and you're going to make it just like we made the pockets. The only thing is we're putting single crochets. And I've done 44 single crochets. So I chain 45, chain 45, and went into the second chain from the hook. I went in and placed single crochets all the way down the line, and I went up 22 rows. So 45 single crochets across and 22 rows up. And of course it depends on if you want it bigger, smaller. This is how you make that piece. Now I'm going to show you how I plan on writing "go away" on here. I'm just going to come in with some red, and this was not in the instructions because this was kind of like while I was working on the blanket. I decided to throw it in there at the last minute, so it's not in the beginning under the instructions, but you'll just need a little bit more white. This did not take much white, and some red. So I'm going to add my red on here. And I want to get enough red because I want to work for a while. And this right here is totally an unexpected thing that I'm doing. But that's what happens when you're creating any form of art. You can change things at the drop of a dime, and it just happens. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to put this in here. Now I started to just graph "go away" into this as I made my single crochets, but I wanted to make it simple for anyone to be able to do it. So I have, let's see, we're going to put the "go." We're going to work in 1, 2, 3. Let's work in 2, 4. We're going to work over 6. Yeah, we'll work over 6 of the single crochets. Now my "go," I want to have and kind of centered. So what I'm going to do, and this might not be entirely perfect, I could map it out better, but again, this is a bit of fun and I don't want to take it too serious. So I'm just going to go right here, and I'll kind of want to attach this. Oh wait, go through. I kind of want to attach this on before I start my journey. And I'm just going to free-handedly right go. Now that I've done that, I'm just poking through to the back. I just want to make sure it's secure on there, because I'm probably going to try to write this whole thing if I have enough yarn all the way out. So I'm going to go through the next space, and you see me, I'm here. And I want my go to probably be about that big. And we're making block letters, which is super simple because our single crochets already kind of act like a graph. And we have our first line and go. So now I want to come up right above that line, but in a different space. The line ends right there. I want to come up right above it, but in its own space. And I'm going to come all the way through. And then I said I wanted to go 2, 4, 6. I'm going to try to make a straight line and come right out below that. Now I want some pull to it, but not too much pull. And I'm going to come back up, but I don't want to come back up in the exact same space, but semi close to it. And then I'm going to come where this one ends right here. I'm almost making a total block. And now I'm going to come in right below that slightly. And usually when I do this, I would take and mark this out before and plot my course. But again, just a bit of fun. So, all right. And now I'm going to come up kind of where I was. And remember, I don't want to pull it too tight. This white is just in the way. And then I want to come over. We have our G. So now I want to come over a little bit about here, so we can make a total square for our O. I'm going to come all the way up. Try to match it as best as possible. And I want to come up in fairly the same space, but over some. And I think if I do this again, I probably will graft it in here. But again, I wanted to do something that anyone, if they wanted to do it, could just jump in there and do it. And again, it does not have to be perfect. I'll say it again, this is all a bit of fun. I'm going to come up slightly on the side of it. And go back in the hole in which we started out with. And we have our little simple go, okay? Again, fun. Now I'm going, no, let me come behind here and I'm going to kind of put a knot, not going through to the other side. I want to put a little knot there. So when I go to my A for the away, my O does not move. Okay, my little go there. Now my way, I'm probably going to begin it over here. I'm going to go slightly above that. And come down. All right, now I'm going to stay in the back and I'm going to come up so I can cross my A. We have an A. And now our W, gonna start, I don't know, start here. Of course, I'm just filling it out, just making this. And when switching, you always want to go to a different point. You don't want to go up in the same area because it will come right back out. It's my W. Now we're going to make another A. And I'm going to start about right here. And just like the A before, we're gonna come up in the middle so we can cross our A. And our Y, we're gonna start here. I'm gonna start here. And we only want to go about halfway. And and then we have a nice little cute rickety looking go away. I mean, because this is Oscar. Oscar's not going to have anything, you know, pristine. It's going to be a rickety piece. Um, so let's give him a little explanation point. So we're going to start here and go up there. Going to make a little explanation point. Now for the points tip, we're just going to go in and come out. And go in and come out. And one more time. We'll just take this one straight down. Okay, go away. Now, since I have so much red left on my hook, on my yarn needle, I'm going to go around this whole piece, feeding in, out, in, out, in, out, in between each and every single crochet. And that's going to give me that's going to give me that kind of effect on the outside. And I'm going to go in between, in, out, in, out, in, out. In, out, in, out. And I want to go around this whole piece just like that. It's just another fun additive. And we're going 1, for every, well, let me actually bring this down a little bit. One on every single crochet, in and out. Now once you're done, you make sure it's good. And we're just going to make a little knot in the back, not going through to the opposite side. And I would just do that twice. Now, of course, like I said, this part is just a little novelty I decided to add in at the last minute. It is not necessary. I wanted to look a little raggedy because, I mean, this is Oscar. So I wanted to look a little raggedy. Like, he just took this piece of scrap paper and scribbled "go away" on it. And just to let the people know, does not want to be bothered today. So let me show you. And this part is going to go on the back. And I'm going to show you where. But first, because I don't see it necessary to walk you through all of the, this piece is so long, walk you through all of the adding on. You're going to take your yarn needle. Now, if you decide to use a sewing needle to secure down your pieces, that is fine as well. But remember, for your eyes, just like we did this eye, you're going to sew the black part onto the white part, and then you're going to place your eyes and sew down the eyes. Now with the eyes, you want to go up under, hold under the hood, and then sew it on, okay, just around the edges. And we're going to do that with white, okay? So you're going to take white yarn in your yarn needle and sew it around the edges. And we're going to do the same for this one. Now, once you have that place where you want that to, you pin down, weave in your ends first, and then pin down your eyes, brow. Pin down your eyebrow. You don't want any white showing at the top. If you have a little, that's fine like that. But when you lay it down, you want to have it at the tops of the eyes. And sew this down directly onto the eyes and on the opposite side, and just go around the edges. Again, we'll use brown for that. You can use your yarn needle, or you can decide to use a sewing needle to sew down these pieces. When it gets to the, when you get to your little pockets, this part will be open. You will sew down right along where the trash can begins on the edges here to close that off, and at the top. And we will leave this part open for hands, as well as our other side. We're going to leave that open here for hands. We're just sewing down here. And the only other thing to do other than weave down all the ends would be this back piece. Now, if you have decided to make your little go away sign with me, and this is the front, this is the back of our piece. This is going to go wherever you would like it. I am placing mine right here. It's kind of like he hung it from the trash can right here. And I will actually sew this down with white thread and a sewing needle, okay? So I will be using a sewing needle to sew just this one down. Everything else I will sew down with my yarn needle. This one, The only reason why I'm sewing this one down with my sewing needle is because the inside, on the other side, is the inside of the blanket, and I don't want all the white that I would have to use to sew this down to show. If I'm using white thread, it would show less than it would. Yeah, perfect. It would show less than it would. And you can tilt it if you want to, slant it if you want to, or just put it right there. And this is where I'm going to put mine. And I may take yarn afterwards. Let's go with the red. Take a bit of the red yarn afterwards. Once I have sewn this down. And take my yarn needle and put it here to here and just sew a piece on so it looks like it's hanging from a little hook, okay, just with red. So that's just attaching it here, going here, tacking it here, and then coming back here and tacking it there. But this is just a fun added piece if you choose to do it, you guys. Again, I don't feel the need to have to show you to sew down all those parts, but we're gonna go and to trying this on. I think this thing will fit me. I had so much fun doing this one. I'm actually gonna start pinning down my thing, putting down my eyes. But I had so much fun doing this tutorial. This is one of many. We have Cookie Monster. We have Cookie Monster. We have Oscar. We will be doing Elmo, and what other one? And one more as an added one at the end. And I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video with me and creating this little fun project with me. I hope all the little kitties out there love it, and even our bigger folks who want to do something fun. I am going to now secure down all of my pieces on my eyes and my little pocket. And I hope to see pictures of the ones that you guys make. Send them to me via email, Facebook. I absolutely enjoy seeing what you come up with. You switched it up and did something different. I am so interested in your playful art, and I hope you have fun with me and mine.